What if I told you the loneliest painting in American art was actually painted as a symbol of hope? Why did one painting inspire Blade Runner, The Simpsons, and almost every film noir you've ever seen? What happens when a city goes dark and one diner stays lit like a beacon in the night? All of that coming up right now. Let's dive in. Part 1. December 7th. December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. Japanese bombers attack the U.S. naval base. Over 2,000 Americans dead. The next day, America enters World War II. New York City transforms overnight. Air raid drills. Blackout protocols. Streets go dark. Windows covered. Lights dimmed. The city that never sleeps is forced into darkness, terrified of Nazi bombers crossing the Atlantic. Edward Hopper walks these blacked-out streets, wandering Manhattan at night like he always does. But now everything's different. The vibrant, electric city he loves is dark, anxious, afraid. And then, he imagines something. What would it be like to turn a corner on one of these pitch-black streets and see a diner? Brightly lit, windows glowing, people inside. A beacon of light cutting through the fear. January 21st, 1942. 6 weeks after Pearl Harbor. Hopper finishes a painting. His wife Jo writes the date in their shared journal. Title, Nighthawks. 2 words. 3 months later, the director of the Art Institute of Chicago sees it at a gallery. Declares it fine as Homer, referencing Winslow Homer, legendary American painter. Buys it immediately for $3,000. That painting never leaves Chicago, and it becomes the most recognizable image in American art. Part 2. The Diner with No Door. Look at the painting, really look. 4 people, late-night diner, fluorescent lights, still pretty new tech in 42. The glow spills out onto empty streets through massive curved windows. Inside, a couple sits together. Their hands almost touch, but don't. The woman stares at a matchbook. The man holds an unlit cigarette. They're together but separate, connected but distant. Across from them, a man alone. Back to us. Reading a newspaper, maybe thinking about the war, maybe just needing somewhere warm and bright to sit. Behind the counter, a waiter in white, bent over, doing something we can't see. The only one who might be working, might be talking, but no one responds. Here's what makes it unsettling. Look for the door, the entrance. There isn't one. Hopper deliberately didn't paint a way in or out. We're locked outside on the dark street. Separated by that massive glass window, we can see them, study them, wonder about them. But we can never join them, never hear what they're saying, never enter their world. The diner's based on one in Greenwich Village where Hopper lived. But it's not real. He combined sketches, memories, imagination, created something that feels familiar but doesn't actually exist. Every American recognizes this scene, but none of us have actually been there. And that's the power. It's universal. Could be any city, any night, any lonely moment. Part 3. What Hopper said versus what he painted. Hopper always denied the painting was about loneliness. I didn't see it as particularly lonely, he said. But then he admitted, unconsciously probably, I was painting the loneliness of a large city. Classic Hopper. Deny the obvious interpretation, then accidentally confirm it. Here's what's actually happening in the painting. The geometric precision, the clean lines, not a scrap of trash, no decay. Everything perfect, ordered, controlled. The light, fluorescent glow creating these sharp geometric shapes. The diner's brightness like a dagger cutting left across the darkness. mirrored by light spilling onto the street. The composition. Every element carefully placed. Stools in groups. Windows responding to each other. The couple and the coffee maker balanced. The orange door glowing at the edge, solo, isolated, separate from everything. Hopper didn't dash this off. He spent months, made dozens of sketches, planned every detail. This isn't a snapshot. It's architecture. Constructed loneliness. Part 4. The Hemingway Connection. Hopper loved Ernest Hemingway's short story, The Killers, from 27. Two hitmen walk into a diner, wait for their target. The story drips with tension, menace, things left unsaid. Hopper actually wrote a fan letter to the magazine that published it. Said Hemingway was so much better than other writers because he wasn't sentimental or saccharine. The sense of something about to happen, Hopper said, and it never does. That's Nighthawks. That suspended moment. The couple who might talk but won't. The waiter who might engage but doesn't. The lone man who might look up but never will. Tension without resolution. Story without ending. Writers and filmmakers have been trying to finish Hopper's unfinished stories ever since. Joyce Carol Oates wrote poems giving the characters interior lives. Multiple authors penned short stories imagining what happens next. But the power is in not knowing, in that eternal frozen moment where anything could happen and nothing does. Part 5. How it changed cinema. Hopper was obsessed with movies, spent weeks binging films when he didn't feel like painting, called it going on a bender. When I don't feel like working, he said, I go to the movies for a week or more. He painted theater interiors, studied how light worked on screen, how cameras framed shots. Film noir was exploding in the early 40s. Dark streets, moral ambiguity, isolated characters. That visual language seeped into Nighthawks. But then cinema fell in love back. Blade Runner. Director Ridley Scott said he was constantly waving a reproduction of this painting under the noses of the production team to show the look he wanted. That future noir aesthetic, neon lights in darkness, isolation in crowds, geometric urban spaces, comes straight from Hopper. The Simpsons referenced it. So did Alfred Hitchcock in multiple films. David Lynch's visual style owes massive debt to Hopper's compositions. Wim Wenders made a 3D short film, bringing Hopper's paintings to life. The painting proved something crucial. Canvas and screen are siblings. Both give form to feelings. Both transform loneliness into art. Part 6. Why it endures. $3,000. That's what Chicago paid in 42. Roughly $58,000 today. It's been at the Art Institute of Chicago ever since. One of the most visited artworks in their collection. People stand in front of it for minutes. Silent. Staring. Because it speaks to something timeless. Urban isolation. Being surrounded by people but completely alone. Connected but disconnected. Together but separate. In 42, it was about wartime anxiety, fear, darkness, but also hope, that bright diner pushing back against the night. Today, it's about scrolling through phones while sitting next to someone, being in crowded cities but feeling invisible, having 1,000 online friends but no one to call at 3 a.m. The painting's been parodied endlessly. Gottfried Helnwein put James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, and Elvis inside the diner. The Simpsons. Cartoons. Memes. Everyone wants in. Because Hopper gave us a window, literally, into universal human experience. The loneliness we all feel but rarely admit. The moments when we're physically present but emotionally absent. The quiet desperation of modern life. Closing. The big question. In 1942, Edward Hopper walked dark wartime streets, imagined a bright diner cutting through the fear, painted 4 people who'll never speak to each other, never connect, never escape, and somehow created the most hopeful painting about loneliness ever made. Because here's the real question. Is that diner a prison? 4 people trapped behind glass, isolated even from each other? Or is it a sanctuary? A place where lonely people can sit together in their loneliness, bathed in light against the darkness outside. Maybe Hopper understood something we're still learning. That being alone together is still being together. And sometimes the light we create in the darkness is enough.